From the second overall pick,
the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State.
To a season-ending injury,
a huge blow for Saquon Barkley and the Giants organization. Just 2 games into the season and Barkley is done for the year after tearing the ACL in his right knee.
Saquon Barkley has had countless obstacles to overcome. As he continued to play with the struggling Giants franchise, this left fans wondering if Saquon would ever make a comeback. Saquon would ultimately sign a deal that would make him the 4th highest paid running back in the league. But where did this unlikely comeback start? Saquon Barkley was born on February 9th, 1997 in the Bronx of New York. Growing up, he fell in love with football, and it quickly became clear that he had a special talent for the game. His family later moved to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Barkley attended Whitehall High School. He rushed for over 3,600 yards and 63 touchdowns during his high school career, but also played basketball and ran track. Excelling as a multi-sport athlete, he decided to stick with football, even with feelings of initial doubt. But it was clear that if he had a future in any major sport, football would be his ticket to a professional career. Originally, Barkley committed to play college football at Rutgers University, since this was the first school that actually offered him. He stated in the New Heights podcast that they showed interest in him before any other school did, before he was a big-time recruit. After receiving interest from other top programs, he changed his mind and committed to Penn State. And this would set the stage for his rise as one of the best running backs in college football history. Barkley played at Penn State for 3 seasons from 2015 to 2017, and during that time, he set multiple school records. Even as a freshman, Barkley was getting noticed for his insane highlights on ESPN. He rushed for 1,076 yards and 7 touchdowns, earning 2nd team All-Big Ten honors. And this was really just the beginning of his impressive college career. In his sophomore season in 2016, Barkley took his game to the next level. He rushed for over 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns, including an incredible 202-yard performance against Maryland. He was named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year and helped lead Penn State to a Big Ten championship. Barkley's junior year in 2017 was just as impressive. He rushed for 1,271 yards and scored 18 rushing touchdowns, and added 632 receiving yards to the mix. He even set a school record with 358 all-purpose yards in a game against Iowa. His versatility on the field earned him the Paul Hornung Award, given to the most versatile player in college football. After a 7-6 record in 2015, Penn State won the Big Ten Championship in 2016 with an 11-3 record and finished 7th in the final AP poll. They made back-to-back appearances in the New Year's Six Bowls, including the Rose Bowl in 2016. And in 2017, Penn State had another strong season, finishing 11-2 and ranked 8th in the final AP poll. Saquon played for Penn State at the perfect time. This is when Penn State was beating Ohio State, and it's safe to say that when Saquon was at Penn State, they had set a new standard for the team. So after a successful college career, he declared for the 2018 NFL Draft. Barkley was considered one of the top prospects. His performance at the NFL Combine, where he ran a 4.4 second 40-yard dash and completed 29 bench press reps, definitely caught the attention of every NFL scout. And this was during a time where I was training hard to play college football, and I couldn't believe the numbers Barkley was putting up. He was truly, and still is, a freak of nature. Eventually, the NFL Draft rolled around, and after the Combine, the New York Giants selected Barkley with the 2nd overall pick, making him the highest drafted running back since Reggie Bush in 2006. And this was an interesting year for running backs because there was actually 3 running backs selected in the 1st round. The last time this happened was in 2012 with Trent Richardson, Doug Martin, and David Wilson. Giants fans were in need of a new superstar. The team had just finished with a disappointing 3-13 season in 2017. They were coming off of a significant regression following a playoff appearance in 2016 and were searching for a fresh direction. With veteran quarterback Eli Manning aging, there was a debate about whether the team should draft a quarterback to rebuild or add a premier talent like Barkley. Ultimately, they chose Barkley, hoping to provide an elite playmaker to jumpstart their offense while still relying on Manning. And Barkley didn't waste any time making an impact in the NFL. In his first game, he scored a 68-yard touchdown. He set a Giants record with 14 receptions in week 2, and by the end of the season, Barkley had rushed for over 1,300 yards and scored 11 rushing touchdowns. He also caught 91 passes for 721 yards and 4 touchdowns. His 15 total touchdowns set a Giants rookie record. For this outstanding season, Barkley was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year and was selected to the Pro Bowl. It was clear that Barkley was a superstar in the making, but this is right before tragedy struck. After a phenomenal rookie season, Barkley entered 2019 with high expectations. He was ranked number 16 in the NFL's top 100 players list, and the Giants made him one of the team captains. Barkley would start the season strong, however in week 3, disaster struck. Barkley suffered a high ankle sprain that forced him to miss several games. But even though he missed time due to injury, Barkley finished the 2019 season with 1,003 rushing yards, making him the first running back in Giants history to rush for 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons. But Barkley's real challenge came in 2020. In week 2 against the Chicago Bears, Barkley suffered a devastating knee injury. He tore his ACL, which ended his season and required surgery. This injury was a huge blow not only to Barkley, but also to the Giants franchise. He had to work so hard to build his career, and now he would face a long road to recovery. So Barkley spent most of his 2020 season rehabbing from this injury. The Giants picked up his 5th-year option for the 2021 season, but Barkley's return to the field was anything but smooth. He struggled with injuries again, including an ankle injury in week 5, and was placed on the COVID-19 reserve list later that season. Barkley played in 13 games in 2021, rushing for 903 yards and 2 touchdowns. And it was clear that he wasn't the same Barkley. And after putting in a lot of work during that offseason, the Giants fans had already lost hope in their future star. But they didn't know that Saquon was about to make a huge comeback. In 2022, Saquon Barkley returned to the field healthy and ready to prove that he was still one of the best running backs in the league. And he kicked off the season with a bang, rushing for 164 yards and scoring a touchdown in week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Barkley also caught 6 passes and covered a 2-point conversion to give the Giants a 21-20 comeback win. This was a notable performance for Barkley, mainly because this named him the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Barkley continued to shine throughout the season, and he rushed for over 100 yards in multiple games, including a 152-yard performance against the Houston Texans in week 10. Barkley finished this season with over 1,300 rushing yards and 10 rushing touchdowns, earning Pro Bowl honors for the 2nd time in his career. After the 2023 season, Barkley had finally gotten Giants fans excited again. Even though Saquon Barkley was back and his production had increased, nothing can really compare to being part of a winning program. Since Saquon's rookie season, the Giants had only had 1 winning season, where they went 9-7 in 2022. This ultimately led Saquon to another team, with a clear history of winning. In March 2024, Barkley signed a 3-year, $37.75 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Since he's from the Bronx, this move also still allows him to stay close to home, being able to play for a team on the East Coast. In regards to his contract, this ranks him as the 4th highest paid running back in the NFL behind Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and Jonathan Taylor. In his Eagles debut, Barkley rushed for 109 yards and scored 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown in a 34-29 victory over the Green Bay Packers. His performance earned him NFC Offensive Player of the Week honors and showed that Barkley was ready to continue his rise in the NFL, hopefully marking the start of a crazy comeback for Saquon Barkley.